Hey, Dave Watts with Winwell Tennis here, and today we're going to talk about all the variations of tennis grips that you might use during a match. Okay, so a few things to understand when we're talking about grips. One, there's no perfect grip. You're going to use different grips depending on different situations on the court. You should be using a different grip for your serve than the grip you're using for your forehand, etc. So now let's go into the various grips for various situations. Okay, so here's your reference points when we talk about grip. The racket has 8 bevels, right? So it's an octagon. So the top bevel, when you put the racket into this position, is bevel 1. So this is the top panel. There's a little diagonal bevel here, that's bevel 2. Bevel 3 is on the side, 4, 5, etc. all the way around. If you're a lefty, you just reverse that. So that's the bevels of the tennis racket. The other reference point you're going to look at is your hand. So if I'm a righty, I want to get the base knuckle of my index finger and my heel pad. So looking this way, this base knuckle and this heel pad. And if I put it like this, it kind of forms a line, right? So here's the base knuckle, here's the heel pad, and more importantly, the bottom of the heel pad, not up here. So those are your 2 reference points for your hand, and the bevels are your reference points for the racket. Okay, so the first grip we're going to talk about is a Continental Grip. This is probably the most versatile grip you're going to have in your tennis arsenal, and it's really the grip you're going to serve with and the grip you're going to hit most of your volleys with. Now, there are different shades of the grip, so you may move slightly towards a composite for volleys, and you may move slightly over one way or the other depending on the type of serve you're going to hit. But generally, a Continental Grip is the grip for the serves and the volleys. So here's what that looks like. Okay, so we take the base knuckle right here, and then the heel pad down here, and we put those on the second bevel. And if you notice, my hand is angled upward, okay? So it's not straight up on the racket like this, right? The hand is angled, okay, on the second bevel here. So my heel pad and my base knuckle are on the second bevel, and that's a Continental Grip. Okay, so moving from the Continental Grip, we're going to go 1 bevel over to an Eastern forehand grip. So this is what you're generally going to use for your forehand. So we just slide from bevel 2 down to bevel 3, and now our hand is still angled upward, and it really places the racket, or places the hand behind the racket rather. So the palm is behind the racket now on bevel 3. Okay, and that is going to be the grip that you could ideally use for a forehand drive. So the next grip would be a semi-western. So we go from bevel 3 and we slide 1 panel over to bevel 4. And what that does is that just slightly shuts the racket. If we're getting really specific here, every bevel is going to shut the racket or open it 45 degrees. There's 8 bevels, so it's 360 degrees. Right, so this will, if you keep all other things equal and you just move the grip over to the 4th bevel, it shuts the racket 45 degrees. This puts the hand slightly more underneath the racket and makes it a little bit easier to accelerate upward and generate a little more top spin. So that's your semi-western grip. All right, so the last grip is going to be your western grip. The western is really what we consider an extreme grip, and probably not the grip that you should be using on your forehand. You can really generate a lot of topspin, but it's very hard to get a long hitting zone and drive through the ball with the full western grip. It also makes it a lot easier to get injured. So a full western grip looks like this, where your base knuckle and your heel pad are down completely underneath the racket on bevel 5. So that's what a full western grip looks like. Okay, so coming back the other way, we're going to go all the way back past a Continental and put the base knuckle and now we're going to kind of get away from the heel pad, and we're just going to kind of put the base knuckle from our index finger and then the base knuckle of our pinky on bevel kind of 1 right there. So really it just looks like you're making a fist with the racket, and that's going to be your Eastern backhand. Now you can go slightly more over or less over, depending. You can create a little bit of an angle. It's really a feel thing. But this is what an Eastern backhand grip looks like, and it's really a fist to the ball. So that's your Eastern backhand grip. Okay, so the last grip we're going to talk about is the two-handed backhand grip. Okay, so with the two-handed backhand, you can basically have different variations of an Eastern or a Continental with your hitting arm, with your right arm. So I prefer a Continental with the right arm and an Eastern backhand with the left arm. I'm sorry, an Eastern forehand with the left hand. Okay, so that looks something like this. Now you can go to an Eastern grip on your forehand as well, but I prefer the Continental, like I said. So a Continental with the right arm or with the right hand, and an Eastern grip or semi-Western, preferably an Eastern, with the left. And that should be your two-handed backhand grip. So that's really it for the grips. Obviously, there are lots of shades of grips, and again, you want to do what's comfortable. So I hope that was insightful and explained a few things on the grip, and we'll see you next time.